Now, we'll be back later this week with a dive into the Ali Pali draw, and we'll be back over the next couple weeks to preview the World Championships in even further detail. But one thing we did promise to talk about on our next podcast was the PDC's announcement regarding the Women's World Match Play winner now being awarded a spot in the World Championship field each year, starting with this year's winner, Fallon Sherrock. There's been a lot of talk about it on social media, especially since Fallon was caught at the end of the women's series for one of those spots by Bo Greaves. Week on now from the announcements. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I'm not sure why people are talking about this now. In all seriousness, it's got a lot of debate, hasn't it, on social media? And I think probably fair to say that the timing, more than anything, from darts fans is why they may be a little bit annoyed by it, I think. And some fans probably feeling like it is trying to shoehorn Fallon Sherrock into the World Championship. But you think back to this decision, and we spoke to Matt Porter, I think, the start of October, and one of our listener questions was, where's that vacant Ali Pali spot going to go this year? And I think he said they're exploring options at the moment. Asia was somewhere I think they were hoping to get a qualifier on. We have got the Asian tour coming back next year. I don't think that's something we've spoke about on the show, but that's been announced over the last few weeks. That is coming back next year. But I think due to the restrictions at this time, they weren't able to get another qualifier on out there. So they were looking at other options. And I think that the Women's World Match Play spot, maybe there is an argument that if Eileen de Graaf would have won that final against Fallon, would the PDC have been as upfront as dating back to this year's winner, putting them in the World Championship? It's a question you've got to ask the PDC. If someone could ask them and get the answer, I'd be interested to know. But I think looking at the bigger picture, it's great for women's darts, isn't it, to get that extra spot in the field for the World Championship. You've got 3 women in the World Championship this year. You've got the top 2 from the Women's Series. You've got the Women's World Match Play champion. And the PDC have said this isn't going to be a one-off thing. This is going to be something that is going to carry on into next year. And you think they've also announced there's more Women's Series events next year. There's the increase in prize fund for those events as well, the extra spot in their biggest event. It's all good for women's darts. And it's good to see the PDC, that the biggest darts organisation there is, expanding, increasing their interest in the women's game. But looking at how it's been announced, that the timing of it, I think, is probably the big thing that people have been annoyed about. And you think back to the last weekend of the women's series, we were all invested in it, weren't we? That battle for that last spot, second spot, we all thought that was going to be, it was only going to be one of those 2 players, Bo Greaves or Fallon Sherrock, that were going to get to Ali Pali. And we were seeing Bo Greaves going on this incredible run of tournament wins, winning 8 titles in a row, beating Fallon in that penultimate final, which saw the 2 players switch places. And it was one of the best games we've ever seen in the women's series. And you think of the stakes that were on offer in that game. And yeah, it's hard not to feel a little bit cheated, really, if the PDC's plans were all along, however they finished, Fallon was going to get it in via the Women's World Match Play, or maybe they'd have said if Fallon would have finished second, third place, we'll get the spot. We'll never know. But I think, yeah, going forward, the bigger picture, it is great to see that the 3 spots, but I can see the argument for why maybe Fallon's been shoehorned into this tournament. But going forward next year, the Women's World Match Play, the winner of that is going to get a spot. And you think that the top 8 that get into that, it's an afternoon event, 1 afternoon, 3 games. The players that qualify for that probably going to be fancying their chances, aren't they? That the Women's Series is a long year going through all those events. But a one-off event, if you can qualify for it, you win 3 matches, you're going to be in Ali Pali. So, yeah, I think going forward, it's big for the women's game. And we just got to hope Fallon Sherrock, she can block out the outside noise from social media and put on a good performance at Ali Pali next month.
Well, I don't know how much they'll be fancying it, because the last 8 one-off events have been won by Bo Greaves, Bo Greaves, Bo Greaves, Bo Greaves, Bo Greaves, Bo Greaves, and Bo Greaves. And we'll see. Obviously, anything can happen in any given tournament, but I think there'll be a very heavy and deserved favorite when the Women's World Match Play rolls about next summer. But yeah, the timing of it was the problematic thing, because it really did then look like you were trying to shoehorn Fallon into the field. And had Fallon held on to second, would things have been different? Would have they given a 4th spot to the PDPA tour card holder qualifier? I don't know. There's only a few people in the world who know, and they will never tell us. But it does come across the way that they were trying to shoehorn Fallon in. And there's nothing against Fallon. This is just, the facts of how it does appear. That's how it does appear. This is something that the announcement, I think, should have been earlier. Should it have been before the Women's World Match Play? I mean, ideally, yes, but realistically, no, because as Matt Porter has said every year when we've had him on, what the international qualifiers are is a developing process over the course of the year, especially in COVID times. Where can the PDC put on events? Where can they organize, find local groups that are willing to put together these qualifiers? And the demand is also there for those qualifiers to fill up 32 spots. Granted, some of those are going to other things. Some are going to the Tour Card Holder Qualifier, the Women's Series, Challenge Tour Development Tour. But overall, there's 32 spots to fill, and it's not something that you'll know necessarily by mid-July whether those 32 spots are accounted for or not. But to have it be so late when it's probably been known for at least a few weeks, if not a few months, that there was this extra spot. And then suddenly, right after Fallon failed to finish in the top 2 of the women's series, now the announcement is made, well, she's going anyway. Seems a bit contrived. That said, is it justified? Well, she is the biggest draw in women's darts. She is one of the biggest draws in darts, full stop. She is going to get eyes on the television, and she's going to get darts in the media. And no matter what you say, that is something that is important for the PDC and should be important, because in most of the world, it is still a niche sport. Even in Great Britain, it is only a low-end mainstream sport. It is not football. It is not cricket. It is not rugby. It is something that is put on secondary channels, if at all. And that means having someone there who will get it attention is important, even if it's at the expense of one tour card holder or someone else. It does look fishy. The timing of it does seem to indicate the PDC wanted her there, but at the same time, she brings more value than any other player would. And that's just a fact that has to be acknowledged. So I don't know for sure. It does seem like she was shoehorned into this tournament, but again, the tournament is better with her there because it's going to bring more attention, more positive attention, and more eyeballs to darts, and that is only a good thing now and in the long run.